said earlier, it's a very familiar story of Abraham, his nephew Lot. Chapter 18, we know the story of the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah. It came up before the Lord, and Abraham had sought for 50 could be found, to 40, on down to 10, but 10 couldn't be found, and now the destruction of the city of Sodom and Gomorrah is at hand, and this is where we pick it up in chapter 19, verse 1. It says, "And there came 2 angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground." In reading this and studying some of the commentaries, different people have different opinions of maybe a Lot being here. Maybe he had rose in his stay there in Sodom as maybe being one who was a mayor that you could maybe share with in his standing, a good standing with the people there, or some of the commentary I read maybe was sharing that as he sat there at the gate with all that's going on within the city, he wanted to be a part of that. We could read different points into both of those, but we do find him here in the city of Sodom, and we see him at a point where he has found a home here. His family, his wife, his daughters have found a home here, and now destruction is looming, and the Lord has sent these 2 angels to come to get him out of this city before the destruction hits. And it says, "And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, No, but we will abide in the street all night. And he, Lot, pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him and entered unto his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat." So here we see the kindness of Lot sharing with these 2 angels, no doubt, as in verse 1 where it says that he bowed himself. He probably recognized who they were, knowing that the Lord had sent them there, and he knew who they were. And it says, "But before they lay down, retired for the night, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house around, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men who came to you this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him." So this again brings us to the point of where just how wicked the city is, that the men of the city see Lot with these 2 men, and they recognize it immediately, and they come and call unto Lot and ask him, where are the men that came with you? And they share with them to let them come out unto us, that we may know them. Very sad situation, isn't it? I mean, it's a very sad situation that we see happening here. No doubt the wickedness of this city, it had been brought up before the presence of the Lord, and we see just a little bit of this. And we go back, it says not only the young but the old man. It seemed that it had crept into all generations of the city at that time. So we find Lot here in a desperate situation. Lot was a man who had lived with Abraham. We know the story of Abraham, how God had spoken to him, but yet we find him here dwelling among these people, living in this area, and not quite understanding the situation, why he is still there. And said, "I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly." So here Lot is trying to share his remorse or his concern, and saying, do not do this. This is an unspeakable thing that you're wanting to do here. So Lot is asking them, just go on your way. And then it says in 8, behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under my shadow of my roof. This verse here, it really made me think of the condition of the situation that was going on there, that Lot would offer his 2 daughters to the men of the city instead of the 2 angels that are with him. Some of the thoughts that would enter my mind as he would do this, I can't understand why anyone would make this offer to anyone. It's really hard to fathom what he is saying here. Maybe in the thoughts that I have, maybe he desired the approval of the people of that city in that day and time, that he was willing to give up his children just to appease them. I know he was probably trying to take care of these men, but still we find a situation here that doesn't really seem right, does it? I mean, it doesn't seem right that someone would offer his 2 daughters up. He recognizes, I'm sure, the sincerity of these men and the angels, who they were, but still we find him offering 2 daughters of his. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came into sojourn, and he will needs to be judged. And now will we deal worse with you than with them. And they pressed sore upon the men, even Lot, and came near to break the door. So here we see in this situation of what's going on, that the men were not interested even in Lot's offer for his daughters to go out. They were wanting these men. There was an attraction to these 2 angels that came in, and their desire was to go and to get what they wanted. A lot of wickedness. I mean, we think of the things that we see in the world today, and we can compare things, but this no doubt was a very wicked place, a very terrible situation, and we find Lot right within the midst of them. We find him dealing with all of this and trying to work things out where maybe he should have never been in this situation, but here he is. He has found a home in this place. He has found a home to where his family is living. It sounds like he's comfortable there. It sounds like he's gotten popularity. He's gotten in good relationship with a lot of the people. As you go back, if maybe he was an elected official there, that he wanted to maybe work both things out to earn a vote. I don't know, but something's going on within his mind, that he has allowed the things that's going on within this city to affect him in his life, and he is there in a place to where he shouldn't be. It says, but the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them, and they shut the door. So these angels, or as Lot is talking, they put forth their hand and they pull Lot back into the house. And they came and they smote the men who were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, and they were worried themselves to find the door. So here we realize that the angels were able to take care of themselves. They didn't really need Lot to try to protect them or to take care of them. They were able at just any point to take care of themselves. They took care of the situation. God is able to take care of situations and able to handle everything, the sins of the world, the things that's going on here. These angels smote these men with a temporary blindness to where they couldn't really see what was going on, and they took care of the situation. It says, and the men, the angels, said unto Lot, have you here any besides a son-in-law and your sons and your daughters and whatsoever you have in the city, bring them out of this place. Here we see the attempt to remove the world's ways that has dwelt within Lot while everything is going on. Lot is still here, and these angels are trying to let him know that you've got to get out of this. It's time for you to leave here. It's time for you to get out of this situation. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. All the sin that had been happening had came up before the Lord, and people had not repented. So here the angels are sharing with Lot that we are here to destroy this place, and the cry of the sins of this world, of this city, has came up before the Lord. So here we find ourselves as the angels are sharing with Lot that you really need to take account on who you have here. It's time to get serious about this, because it's not going to stand very much longer. And Lot went out and spoke unto his sons-in-laws, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But he seemed as one who mocked unto his sons-in-laws. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take your wife, your 2 daughters, which are here, lest ye be consumed in the iniquity of the city. Think about this, I don't know. Speaking for myself, the Lord sent angels and said, it's time to get out of this place. I'm going to destroy it. I don't think they would have had to tell me but one time. I found myself in some situations to where just being at a normal place. Just last week, leaving work, stopped at McDonald's to get a little food, and out in the parking lot, some things started to take place, some things going on that I felt uneasy about, and it really scared me. And it didn't. I was waiting on a quarter pounder with cheese and some fries, but when that occasion began to arise, that quarter pounder and cheese, it didn't really matter that much. I drove on out of there. Hey, I can do without that. It's time to get out of here. So if I can leave it over a quarter pounder with cheese, when something has said that this is serious, that things are going to be destroyed, as human nature, as I am, when those things arise, I'm ready to get out of there. Especially when destruction seems, we take these things serious. And here we see the angels regarding Lot and sharing with him, it's time to get out of this city. It's time to go on your way, because destruction is going to take place. And while he lingered, the men, the 2 angels, laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, and the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. So here we see again, Lot seems to be just lingering along in this city. I don't know the connection. I begin to wonder, and sometimes I've asked the question, why does this person seem to want to just stay in this situation? Or why does this person just want to stay in the state that they're in for such a long time? And it goes right back to what we're seeing here in Lot. He has taken a home within this city, and it seems that he is just lingering around and not really getting in too big of a hurry, as I read it, that he's ready to get out of there as quick as I would want to be out of there. So it is so many times, as you said, you talk with people and you share with people and say, you need to think about the situations that you're in, and you need to really consider what's going on, and maybe get out of these situations, because the Lord is not pleased, and it's not good for you. But sometimes, it's just hard to get through to people. Sometimes it's just hard to get through to people, and they get so wrapped up and they get caught up in the things and the places that they are. And it says, and it came to pass in 17, when they had brought them forth abroad, that one of the angels said, escape for your life. Look not behind you, neither stay you in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest you be consumed. God had commanded to them total abandonment in heart, to leave the city, not even to look behind. You need to go forth and forget about this place, because I'm going to destroy it. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold, now your servant has found grace in your sight, and you have magnified your mercy, which you have showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. It is not a little one, and my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted your concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which you have spoken. It says, Make haste, escape quickly, for I cannot do anything until you come out of Sodom. The Lord, in verse 22 here, what he is saying, the angel is saying, Make haste, escape quickly, for I cannot do anything until you come out of Sodom. The Lord had promised Abraham that Lot would be spared. Therefore, destruction could not come to Sodom and Gomorrah until Lot was safely removed. That's something to think about, isn't it? That the Lord had promised Abraham that he would spare Lot. Abraham had been interceding for Lot. He had been praying for him. He had been calling out to God for the Lord to spare Lot and his family, and even to spare the city. And this really makes us think that our prayers are very important. People that we're praying about, people that are in situations that you can't really understand. And this scripture spoke to me as I listened to it and began to dwell on this and hear words from other pastors on this topic of how so many times as we see things going on and the way sometimes people tend to get into, and things are going on and you wonder, what else can I do? We see here that Abraham knew and was understanding all the sin that was going on, what had happened to Lot, the sin that he was in, the place that he was at. And but yet Abraham interceded, and Abraham prayed unto the Lord, and he asked the Lord to spare his nephew. He didn't give up on him by no means. He didn't give up on his faith in the Lord and what the Lord could do. And as we go through this life, a lot of times we may have situations, and this is how when this scripture spoke to me, I was almost at a point to where I was even saying, what else can I do? I prayed, and we've talked, we've prayed, we've done this, we've done that. I'm about at the point to where I want to just give up and not try anymore, or just say, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But really, as we serve the Lord and as we seek and pray for people, our friends, our family, our loved ones, we see in this chapter that as long as people have breath, as long as people have life within them, that as Christians and as people who know who God is and have a revelation of the loving kindness of God and His salvation, that we've got to keep pressing on, and we've got to keep praying for people. We've got to keep asking God to intercede and to save them. Who knows what prayer it will be that will rescue them in that time that destruction is about to hit, or times that things may happen and it could have taken them out. But God remembered your prayer. God remembered that you had interceded for someone. We can't give up on people. We see the story of Abraham here, as we said, and what these angels are saying. I cannot do anything until this is not going to be destroyed. This city can't be destroyed. Nothing can happen until you are safe. That was Abraham's prayer, wasn't it? And God remembered, and God heard Abraham's prayer, and God had promised Abraham that he would spare Lot. And God was upholding His word. And we can put our faith and our trust in what God tells us, can't we? That when God gives us a word, and when God gives us a promise in His word, that we can hold on to what He has told us and hold on to faith, because that's what it takes. That's what I need in my life, more of the faith in God to say, Lord, I'm tired, I'm weary, I'm really wore out. The things that's happening is really getting the best of me, and I just feel like I need to give up. But I can't give up. I can't give up on my friends. I can't give up on my loved ones. I can't give up on my children. I've got to keep falling on my knees and asking the Lord to be with them and help them, because they're in places that they don't need to be. Friends that are in places that they don't need to be. So many people in the world today are in places that they really don't need to be, and they've gotten used to that, and it seems like that's the only place that they want to hang out and be in, and they don't really see the need to draw closer to God. But that doesn't give me the reason to just give up and not keep praying for them, and to realize that God can bring them out, and God can somehow, some way deliver them from where they're at and bring them to a better place. It says, the sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar, and the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. It says, and He overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the city, and that which grew up on the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord, where he prayed, maybe to where his time to where he interceded. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. So we can really put my mind in how Abraham must have felt at that moment, to where he rises up and he looks and he sees the smoke of the city coming up, and he knows that the destruction is taking place. He hadn't heard from Lot yet, but his faith is in the Lord. And it says here in 29, and it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when the overthrow of the cities in the which Lot dwelt. And that verse right there has really stuck with me, that God remembered Abraham. And God remembered the prayers that Abraham had prayed, the interceding that God had heard from Abraham, his continually not giving up on Lot, even though Lot was in this city. And here we find Abraham looking toward the city, and seeing the smoke come up and realizing that everything had been destroyed. I'm reminded of another story of David when he and his men went out. I think Ziklag maybe, and they had went out and to fight, and they came back, and the enemy had came in, and as they came up, they saw the smoke coming in, and everyone had been destroyed or been taken captive, and the whole thing had taken place, and what he must have felt. And I find Abraham here at this same place, really seeing all of this and seeing that God has finally rained down destruction upon the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah. But this verse here in 29 says that God remembered Abraham. He remembered his covenant. He remembered Abraham's prayer, and he had promised to save Lot. And God will remember our prayers. As we see the things going on in the world today, and as we have situations going on in our life, and we see the destruction and the sin and the wickedness of the world that we live in, and so many things going on, and how people can get caught up in it, and then it seems like it's just so hard for them to get out of it. Me and my wife, we see this, and we plead and beg with the Lord. And there's a lot of people in this world today that are in situations that they have gotten caught up in things that's of the world, addictions, many different things that they can't seem to get out of, a lot of just vile things that's going on. But we as Christians today, we need to learn from Abraham that we still got to pray. We still got to keep pressing on. We still got to keep putting our trust in the Lord, because the Lord is able to deliver. The Lord is able to set free. The Lord is able to bring those who are in sin, those who are in the very midst of sin and going through things in this life that we don't understand. We still serve a God that is able to reach down and to touch lives. We still serve a God that is able to hear our prayers, and we don't have to just give up and say, I'm not going to pray anymore. I'm not going to worry about it anymore, because the people that we're praying for, their souls are at stake, and people are going to spend eternity somewhere. And I want to be sensitive to always know that I've got to keep praying. I've got to keep trusting in the Lord. I've got to keep knowing that some way, somehow, it don't look really good right now. Abraham said, if you could find 50, if you could find 40, find a little hope somewhere, Lord, and save this situation or save this city. But it couldn't be found. But the Lord remembered Abraham, and he spared Lot. Not because of who Lot was. Lot was right there in the midst of it, But God spared Lot because of Abraham. It says in 29 that God remembered Abraham. God, remember my prayers. There's times where people are going to be in the midst of sin. They're going to be right in the sin city, living it up, doing those things. But God can hear your prayer. And it might not be for what they're doing, but it will be for the prayer that you prayed that somebody could be saved. It could be the prayer that you pray that would keep somebody from being destroyed. It could be the prayer that you pray that would bring somebody to salvation. It may be the prayer that you pray that brings my children to salvation. I'm all for that. It may be the prayer that I pray that would help a situation that you're going through. But here we find Abraham praying for his nephew that he didn't give up on. He didn't give up on him even though he was in the midst. Abraham had tried to encourage Lot, if I'm not mistaken, to stay with him, to dwell. But Lot has that's just the way it is, isn't it? I think I'm ready to go my own way. You hear that? I think I'm ready to just go on and do my own thing, and thanks for everything, but I got this under control. It looks pretty good this way. Toward Sodom and Gomorrah, that land looks pretty good. That looks like something I could get into and I could dwell pretty good. And before you know it, here's Lot right in the midst. And as we said, some are saying that maybe he could even been the mayor of the city. He had grown to popularity there, that the people really loved him, and no doubt, as I read it, we all have different thoughts. He was wanting to earn that vote. He was trying to appease and do whatever because he felt comfortable there. But it was time for him to get out of that place. But yet he wanted to linger there. So it is today. So it is today that we still find people in situations that we wonder why are you still wanting to just linger here? Why are you still wanting to just stay in the situation that you're in? And sometimes we don't know the struggles. Good people, we don't know the struggles. We don't know what's holding them there. But we do know a God that hears our prayer, don't we? We do know a God that remembered Lot, remembered Abraham, and by remembering Abraham, spared Lot and spared him from being destroyed, and his children. His wife, she disobeyed, but God brought them out. Let's keep pressing on as we serve the Lord, and remember that we can call upon God, and the Lord can help us, and the Lord can deliver people. He can deliver our children. He can help our family, our friends, our loved ones in all situations. And I want to keep pressing on. As I said, over the last few weeks, I really have felt like at times just giving up. But the Lord spoke to me. He said, you can't give up. You've got to keep pressing on. There's no time to give up. Too much is at stake. Too much is at stake to give up. I can't give up until my last breath on this earth leaves me. I've got to keep pressing on. I can't give up on my praying and my faith in God and my trust in the Lord. And sometimes it takes a struggle. It's a struggle, but the Lord encourages us. Just at the right time, the Lord will give us the word. The Lord will give us a touch. And pray for me, and I'll pray for you. And I hope that something's been said. Pastor Mike.